Hello, ladies and gentlemen, anime fans, and everyone else. My name is Sean, and, and welcome to episode 4 of OtakuVerse. With me, I have my wonderful co-hosts, Joey,
Good day, everyone.
Nineth,
Hi guys.
Brittany,
Hello.
and Ryan.
Hello.
So let's kick this episode off the right way, and let's start off with Joey. What anime have you been watching?
Oh, Jesus. I've been watching a lot more shows from the winter season than I had planned on. I think the two that I have to mention that I guess would be the honorable ones are I'm really enjoying the second season of Chunibyo, and Nobunaga seems like it'd be really interesting. And I also just finished the second season of Monogatari.
And how'd you like that?
Oh my
Monogatari?
god. The second season affirmed the Monogatari series is placed as my new favorite anime.
It's
Yep.
really good.
Pretty much
Really
takes
good.
everything that's good about the thing and just adds a shit ton of character development.
I know, it's great. I'm sorry for interjecting, but I just freaking finished
No
that
worries,
as
I
well.
understand.
I'm on board the Kaiki hype train so much right now.
Yeah.
It's just yay. Anyway.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I've been
okay.
watching, so.
Alright, so Nineth, what have you been watching?
I've been watching Mahou Sensu, which have been a disappointment so far.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, it had. Yeah, I don't think it has lived up to the hype that been before.
That's a shame. Because I
Yeah.
haven't checked it out yet, but I plan on it at some point.
The characters just seems very flat, to be honest, and the plot so far is just meh. Second episode, all I could think of was Harry Potter the anime.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not bad. It's just unoriginal, you know.
Yeah, that's true, but
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope it will become better, but I don't know. And then I also been watch an anime called Rainbow Nishirokubo no Shichinen. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
I've heard of it. Yes, I have.
I have
It's
vaguely...
like
It's a seinen,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. The prison
It's-
show.
It's a jail anime. Yeah, it's
That
manime.
sounds deep.
It is. I like it so far. It has a lot of strong characters.
Mm.
Okay.
That's some of the things I've been watching.
All right. Brittany, what have you been watching?
Oh my god. Well, first of all, I've been watching Monogatari second series.
High
second
five.
season. Freaking love that. Boo! High five. And I've been watching Tonari no Seki-kun, and even though it's only 2 episodes and a 7-minute short per episode, I feel exactly like the girl with the white hair, the main character one, in that Seki does so many freaking amazing distractions, and I'd be like trying so hard to study, especially since it's like my favorite subject in that class, history. But I'd get so caught up and like even more imaginative maybe than Seki in what he's doing, and just like wouldn't help but get involved, and I just love it so much.
That's good.
And
I definitely agree that the series is awesome. It's so I can't stop laughing while I'm watching the series.
it's just beautiful.
That's good.
Yeah. Anything else you've been watching?
Brittany? Whatever. We'll move on. She'll come back to us in the future.
Sometimes in the future.
We lost her, Brittany.
Sometimes it happens. It happens.
Rest in peace,
It's
Brittany.
the choice of the
You
stance.
will-
Rip in
Sorry.
peace, Brittany.
Rest in
Rest.
peace.
You
You
said
will not
rest
be.
in peace.
My brother told me to
It's okay.
Brittany, are you
I
back?
do have one other thing I'd like to honorably mention now that I'm actually back and
Okay.
looking at my list of
You're now a
stuff.
zombie. You are now a zombie.
Surprisingly, it's not Sakura Trick, even though I just love it, and I kind of already just let out all my Yuri feels during the winter
Oh,
hype podcast.
Sakura trick. I love it.
I would like to
love it.
mention Nobunaga the food. It's just
I'm hearing so
great.
many mixed things about that from people.
For me, as a history nerd, it has so many historical inaccuracies, but at the same time, it's like seeing Nobunaga Oda and Leonardo da Vinci and freaking Magellan and Julius Caesar and Brutus. For God's sakes, I hope he stabbed Caesar in the back.
I know.
But It's just like seeing all of those historical figures together and knowing the kind of relationships they have with each other ahead of time. It just makes the series that much more interesting. And in my honest opinion, I don't really know why some of them are saying they can't tell what's going on. I mean, it's only 2 episodes, but I followed it pretty well. And I'm just really excited. I hope, I get the feeling the show has so much more to offer as it continues. And, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
I'm pretty much watching it for the same reasons you are, and I'm just waiting for the inevitable
Uh,
booty.
See, I'm
Then
not
full
enjoying it as
Caesar.
much as you guys then, because
Me
I
neither.
don't know. I just think it's average. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not that much into history, so I'm not getting the same thing out of it. But I haven't really seen very much happen yet, which is kind of sad.
I agree with you, Sean. Also, I think Nobunaga is way better than Nobunaga the Fool.
I've only seen the first episode, so I really
I've seen
can't
the
make
first
too much
2. I'm
comment.
looking forward to the next one.
I am as well. But Ryan, what have you been watching?
I haven't been watching a lot, but I've been watching Panty and Stalking off and on. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
Same with
Studio
Log
Gainax being
Horizon.
Gainax.
Same with Log Horizon and Rainbow and Machiko and Hatchet.
I actually
Which
just
are all
started
pretty
Log
cool.
Horizon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you just start Log Horizon?
Yeah.
Yes.
And is it as good as Brittany and Nineth Make It Activate?
It's I've only seen 2 episodes, but I like it because there's not dramatic bullshit attached to it.
Okay.
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online.
I believe
listen,
that since Joey's done it, since you started watching Log Horizon, could I just take a few seconds to kind of do the initiation into Log Horizon that I've been doing ever since someone has mentioned it in this podcast?
Yes. You can do
Okay.
it.
Database, slip it in the database. Whoa. Okay,
I knew that was coming.
And yeah, I knew that was coming too.
welcome, Joey.
It's always that,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to talk about what I've been watching now.
All right.
Yeah,
You
good
guys,
idea.
you guys don't mind. Well, first thing I want to make a comment on is Hamatora, which I am enjoying very much. It's kind of like
It's very beautiful.
it is. First off, the animation looks awesome, and the story is, to me, it's like a mixture of Darker Than Black and Durarara, which are 2 series I love. So I'm enjoying that.
Mhm.
And then I'm really enjoying Space Dandy, which is pretty cool. I'm enjoying that.
It's
'cause,
funny.
it is funny, and it's random, and it really makes no sense, but fuck it, because I love it. It's so funny.
Space Dandy's a dandy guy. In
space.
And I'm just trying to support it because the dub's coming out when the whole dub coming out.
I
at
know.
the time
This
of
is a
dub.
huge deal, honestly,
So-
because it's like the first time that a series has been dubbed and it's in original language or being like aired at the same time.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that if enough people support it, maybe it'll happen with the more anime, and then that'd be awesome because I do prefer dubs, so I'll be able to watch dubs at the same time as subs are being released for it, so that'd be cool. And other than that, I'm just rewatching Fate Zero.
Nice.
Fate Zero.
It's a good series.
Yeah,
That's a good series.
rewatching it. I'm watching the dub now, so
And how is the dub so far?
it's fucking all. It's like the elder god status of dubs, in my opinion. It's got Crispin Freeman. It's got
There, that's all I need.
It's got
Crispin friggin' Freeman.
it's got hold on. Who else is in it? I can't even think off the top of my head. There's a lot of good people in it. A lot of well-known people.
Hmm.
Let's see. I don't know off the top of my head.
No worries, as long as you're enjoying it.
I'm loving it. It's so good. But yeah, that's about it. But yeah, you guys know something that's really been ticking me off recently?
What's been ticking you off? What's been rustling your jimmies?
What's been
Rustling,
grinding your gears?
grinding. Know what really grinds my gears? When people talk down on the anime community.
You know
That
what?
shit-
Enter my parents.
Yeah, that's honestly a thing that is, it's talked about, and even like if you're not somebody who's in the community, there's people who make fun of other people for liking anime. I mean, and it's
Even
not
though
just
they
the
don't
people,
even
it's
know.
the anime itself.
Yeah.
It's not. It's more like, oh, you like anime. We're not gonna. You're fucking weird, and it's really, I don't know. Like I had this problem when I was living with roommates,
Mhm.
and
Do tell.
they all hated me because they didn't hate me, but like they would make fun of me because I watched anime, and I really did not understand the whole concept. Like it's just something I watch, something I like, doesn't bother anyone else, and I really don't understand. Have you guys ever had to deal with something like this?
Yeah.
It's... Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Who?
Yeah.
Me or Brittany?
I don't know. Whoever wants
Ooh.
to talk first.
Ready, go, fight.
I guess I have a lot of examples, so I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first of all, actually, one of the reasons why I've never been able to bring myself to watch the anime Bleach is because of the fact that, like, okay, I was going on Adult Swim, and there was actually an episode of Family Guy that was supposed to be on. So I'm like, oh, Family Guy, okay, I'll watch this. And then the very first episode of Bleach actually was airing as a mistake or whatever in my TV scheduling. And I'm like, oh, what's this? It seems it's a new anime. Okay, I guess I'll sit down and watch it. And then my parents kind of walked in, and then it's just like, kind of ever since then, at least especially with my father, because props to my mom for going to Anime Expo with me just because she was wondering what the hell is so fascinating to me about anime.
What's up with those
But-
Chinese cartoons?
No, it's associated with a lot of people, like not just necessarily my parents, but a lot of people seem to think of it as like cartoons that are meant for children.
Yes.
And
Yeah, there's a negative stigma
I-
attached to it.
I kind of agree with, like, yeah, sometimes the animation is kind of bad. And yeah, it happens to be not live action. But in my opinion, there's so much character.
We
Uh-oh, we
Brittany
lost
has died
Brittany
again.
again.
Different and.
Brittany,
than-
you're dying.
Oh,
Yeah, you got
I'm
cut
dead?
off by something.
God damn it! I'm
Go
dead.
back. Go back to character development.
Okay, go back to character development. Okay. Well, there's just so much, like, there's so many different types of character that can be explored. I'm not saying that, this doesn't really happen in real life shows as well, i.e. refer to Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones, to name a few. But it's just, I feel like that with anime and manga, you can have so many different controversial concepts. Like, for instance, for more well-known examples, notebooks with the power to kill people, and the morality and that kind of, and having a human have that kind of ability.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, the often joked about with me, Wincest subject. It's just, there's so much more liberties that you can take with that medium, and I feel like that, just like with a good steak, the presentation of it doesn't necessarily make all the difference in how it actually tastes.
That is
That's
an
pretty good
absolutely
analogy.
excellent metaphor. And another, just going off of one thing you said though, like, because there's always just like this random amount of negative stigma to anime in general. Like, one thing you mentioned was like the whole Wincest bandwagon. There was a discussion going on in a forum once where people were discussing the differences between Western and Eastern animation. And somebody pulled out a picture that I saw that was funny, albeit, like, incorrect. It was a picture that said Eastern versus Western. On the Eastern side, it had a pony from My Little Pony that says, shows that talk about the meaning of friendship and bonds and whatnot. And then on the other side, it had a picture of an anime girl, and it said, I want to fuck my brother. So it's like it's just one of those many negative stigmas where people, like,
Yeah.
make the assumption that the romance stories are like just, Wincest related or whatnot, and that's really not the case. Sure, it happens, but I agree with you that's like it's taking that liberty to do that.
And
Yeah.
and
A lot of
the thing that pissed me off is that most people who haven't seen anime are making these assumptions without actually having seen an anime. So they haven't even seen it to really judge it, and they're judging it a book, based off.
And
its
you
cover.
say that, and that's true, because I actually, one of my best friends, like, I like him. He's my best friend, obviously. But like when me and my other friends are talking about anime, he's just like weirded out, and I'm like, what's wrong with this? And it's like, nothing's wrong with it. It's just I get the image of this person who's like a lonely neckbeard wearing a fedora, and I'm like, okay, I'm obviously not this person. Why do you have to be so disgusted by my interests?
Nineth, I believe you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, first example. I work with one of my friends, and she happened to see my phone, which had a background picture of Rin from Free.
Mm-hmm.
And she both judged me and called me retarded and stuff like that for liking those kind of stuff.
See,
Just because she saw a
Retarded?
picture. Yeah.
A single picture is all that took.
like I don't
Yep.
understand people sometimes.
No.
No, it's really hard to.
And the
Yeah,
thing is,
but-
it's weird that people would just like point at a picture and say something like that, because like I said, that stigma's there, and it's there for other things too, obviously, like video games are another example, but like with anime, it's like,
It's
there doesn't have to be
crazy.
anything more than just a picture of something in a Japanese art style, and people have these automatic like negative assumptions.
Yeah, like when I was living with my roommates, one of them was my cousin, and I was close with my cousin. We were friends, whatever. But he didn't watch anime, and so many times I was like, "Yo, why don't you just let me see? I guarantee I can find something on my shelf that you'll like. If you give me a chance, I'll pick out something, and it'll be a movie, and I'll pick out something, and you'll be able to watch it." I was like, "I'll bet you $50 that you will like one of them," and he refused. He refused on principle not to watch one just because it was an anime.
That's
And I did not
My friend did
understand
that as well.
I did not understand that.
My friend did that as well.
Although-
She forces me to watch reality TV and stuff that she likes, you know?
Yeah.
But every time I say, yeah, you know what? I watched your reality TV. You can watch some of my anime. And it's just, no. And she stops up and just looks at me like I'm some sort of weirdo for even suggesting that.
yeah.
People are so...
I don't understand why. Like, it amazes me. I think it more roots from like when you're in high school, and people in high school get made fun of for watching anime.
Yeah, there's these
Yeah.
artificial stereotypes, like you have to like certain types of things or you're not labeled as cool.
Yeah, I
But like, I mean, like I was fine. Like my new job I'm working at, I brought up
Labeling
that I
poo?
like. Yes, like, I labeled yes. I brought up that I watch anime, and they're like, "Oh, I never." You like that? Okay, that's cool. Then no one said anything. So like, it's only some people, and I think it's more like the narrow-minded people who are like that.
Yeah, honestly.
I
But-
think it's because of that, because the view... people seems to think that anime is big boob girls who just grab each other all the time. A
Yeah.
lot of people
Yeah.
think that
The
that's
assumptions
princip-
about anime really kill it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some anime don't necessarily help that image.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I was
There's
going to say-
for everything we're talking about, there's obviously going to be something that fits a like negative description. I mean, that
Yeah.
just exists in anything that has some sort of like negativity towards it. But
Right.
to make that assumption about everything isn't fair.
But that's the thing about people, I think. They like to generalize.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like, someone will see one piece of art or one picture from
One Piece.
one specific anime and be like, "Oh, every anime is like that," which isn't true.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, if you read one page in one book, is every single book gonna be like that? No.
No.
Mhm. Also, there's these otakus, right? People, they are crazy, no denying it. There's people who marrying their body pillows. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
weird, right?
There are people
Um,
who are, socially awkward, people who are just, there are people like that. And we're not
Yeah.
saying there's anything like, we're not going to just irregularly attack them because that's not fair. It's just different from what we're used to.
Yeah,
and there are
but-
some people who are narrow-minded in their interest in anime who will go out and attack people for not believing what they believe in.
Yeah, what I wanted to say with that though was that that is weird for most people, and the media likes putting people out there and ridicule them, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when they hear about those kind of otakus and they make TV shows and documentaries about
Ah.
those people, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's just the view people get of the anime community then. Because, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
am-
saw something on MTV recently like that, right? Isn't that what
Yeah,
you're talking
about
about?
those-
Kenneth?
But the lowly girls?
Yeah, about the one who wanted like a boyfriend or
Lolita.
something, and then the
Yeah.
MTV people kept on making fun of her for like liking anime or
Wow.
whatever.
Yeah. Stuff like that happens all the time.
Mm.
Now,
There's
Ryan, I
this one
haven't.
kid I'm-
Oh, go ahead, Ryan. I was
Go,
about to say
Ryan.
you haven't talked much. What do you have anything to contribute?
Yeah, I remember this one time that I was on Twitter and this kid that I follow and he's my friend. I never talked to him about anime, but he tweeted, "Anyone who likes Japanese anime, I can't believe, or they must be gay or something. I can't believe that they're straight."
What?
He's like, "What the fuck?"
That guy must have watched one episode of Free. That was his
did.
entire anime experience.
Probably.
But yeah, but then I was like, "What the fuck? I'm straight. I like anime." He's like, and then he started calling me a fag. Just like every time I see him, he's calling me a fag now.
Yeah,
I
I don't.
think he's probably a closet otaku, and he just doesn't want to admit it.
I was gonna say face in general, but
He probably has like a gigantic statue figure of Saber on his desk.
It'd be pretty fast, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
That's another thing that needs to be mentioned is like, you say closet otaku, there's a bunch of people who are like into this kind of thing, and because of these stigmas, they're very like quiet about the kind of stuff they like. It almost like there's this sense of they're not allowed to talk about it.
It's a taboo.
It's
And that-
taboo.
That definitely brings up another thing that I wanted to discuss is what would happen if more people were to let others know that they watch anime, and I feel like that could help the negative stigma that comes attached to.
Well, here's where I can contribute from real life experience to this topic. Like, when I started getting into anime, it wasn't until like after I had gotten out of high school, and like there was a time where I would just like I wouldn't bring it up. I wouldn't mention that it's one of my interests because I had this idea that people wouldn't really want to associate with me, or they'd think the wrong thing about me. And then there just came this point in time where I'm like, you know what, let's try this once. If somebody asks me what I'm into, I'll just tell them straight up I'm into anime. And the way it works is this: I'll tell people that, and they'll just be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
or whatnot, and that's fine. If somebody says like, how can you like that, or has some sort of like negative reaction, I'll do one of two things. If they're my friend, I'll be like, it's okay, we don't really need to talk about it. If you're not into it, that's fine. But if they're just gonna be a dick about me liking it, they're not worth my time.
Yeah.
That's really the approach people need to have with that kind of thing.
Yeah. This is completely true, and that's pretty much the same way I am now.
That's
I mean,
great.
I don't hide it.
Yeah,
It's the
anyone who
same
asks me what
with
I'm into, I
me.
make sure I mention it. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I like video games. I like anime. It's what I'm into.
Like, I feel like if more people were vocal about liking it, then some people might just be like, oh, why do you like it? And then you can explain the positive things about it and maybe give a different impression about it to other people. And
Yeah, like when
I feel like that would help the whole community.
when people ask me why I'm interested in anime, like my response is simple. I'm like, I like animation in general because I feel like it captures like the essence of imagination. And
Yeah.
anime in particular is interesting to me because there is so many different kinds of it and so many different varieties that like
Exactly.
there's something
Yeah.
like somebody mentioned earlier, I don't remember who said it, but there's something for everyone.
There is.
I have a story about that as well.
Oh boy,
back
story
when I-
time with Nineth.
here we go.
Gather around, kids, gather around. No, when I was in elementary school, I used to be a closet nerd. Like, I would never tell anyone that I like reading or watching anime and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was to a party a couple of months ago where I met a girl I used to go to school with. And she asked me, like, what I'm doing now, and was like, I've been okay with me being a nerd by now. So I told her I'm watching anime and stuff like that. And it turned out that she also used to watch anime. So we kind of could talk about that. But because we didn't talk about it back then, neither of us knew that we could have been possibly friends.
Yeah,
Because of
and that's a
anime.
great thing about like when if you show something that you're interested in, even if there's some sort of negative stigma, there's going to be somebody else that likes the same thing, and you could easily become
Exactly.
friends with somebody. Like,
Yeah.
great example is like, you know, I was into anime and I wasn't super vocal about it, and I started wearing shirts that, you know, actually had like anime characters and just like general otaku culture. And like right now, for example, I'm wearing a Death the Kid shirt, and I've managed to make acquaintance and talk to people and start conversations on like the bus because they see my shirt and they're like, "Oh, you must like Soul Eater," and I'm like, "Yeah, actually I do." And like, it's just, you have that one little thing, even if it's not directly vocal, people will, you know, connect with you that way.
I had that happen once, 3 times in one day when I was wearing my Durarara shirt.
You have a Durarara shirt?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, and I want
yeah.
it.
It's cool. I bought it. I got it at an anime convention.
Nice.
But I wore it, and 3 times that day, they're like, "Oh, Durarara, that's so awesome. It's such a good series." And I started having conversation with the person for like 15 minutes, about anime, just because of my shirt. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and that happens to me when I go to conventions too. I mean, that's the best place to meet people.
But yeah, conventions are awesome.
I wore an
Conventions.
Evangelion shirt to school once, and my gym teacher, like, I usually wear band T-shirts, like
Uh-huh.
metal bands, and he noticed my anime shirt, and he's just like, "What is that? One of those Swedish metal bands?" And it was Evangelion,
Chinese cartoons, sir.
and I didn't. He's such a dick. He's so judgmental. Then I didn't want to explain. I was just like, "Yes."
You
Shoulda told him that-
I would have I would have like, "No, it's a fucking anime shirt. What the fuck, you have something to say about it?" I would've been-
Okay,
I would've
okay. Here's where I'm
Thanks.
gonna step in and make a counterpoint to what you just said there, Sean. It's reactions like that, though, that generally also create negative stigma. I feel like
That's
saying something
true.
like that is a bad way to go about approaching it. And a lot of people who are into anime get like that, or just if somebody has an obsession in general, like League of Legends is a great example. You say something negative about that, then there will be people who get pissed off.
Oh god.
The best way, honestly, like in my experience, is like if somebody disagrees with me on something, the best way to go about and give yourself a good image is just be like, whatever, just blow it off and just be the good person there. Like,
Yeah,
I
you're
wouldn't tell
right.
somebody to
Yeah,
fuck
you're right.
off because that's just,
I know,
that's bad
I know.
imaging. That
I know.
contributes.
I know.
But in light of that, though, if I was in Ryan's situation, I would have just been like, yes, they're a Swedish metal band. My favorite song by them is "Get in the Robot."
Just get the goddamn robot.
Then what would you do if he was like, "Oh, could I hear the song?"
You just walk away.
Then you'd be like, "Fuck off."
Shit,
I
it's
would have made one up
on
on
my
the fly,
other
to be
iPod.
honest.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Like, also another example of me being kind of embarrassed to tell, like, people, like, my cousin, he's very judgmental. He doesn't know that I like anime, and I have all my anime figures right here.
Yeah.
On my desk, and there's a large space behind it. So when he was coming over, I pushed them back and put my manga on it. I didn't want him to see them.
So you
And
push
my
back
mom-
your figures and cover them up with manga.
Well, I could explain that with these figures. Like, my mom came down and told me, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, Ryan? He's not gonna care." So yeah, that's one of the things that I was embarrassed about. And what do you know? He fucking comes over and he judges me about it. And he literally asked me. I have a Ray figure, and he literally asked me if I fucking jerk off to it. I was like, "What the hell?"
Obviously, you say no because it's not Asuka. There, I just said it. Come at me. No, but in light of that, that's another thing that brings up a good point, because another thing people like often associate like anime viewers and stuff is that they just like to jack off to Japanese cartoons, and that's in no part thanks to something we've discussed earlier in our podcasting career about fan service. And there's also, the infamous hentai discussion. The inevitable one that will
Not gonna
happen on
happen.
OtakuVerse.
No,
Just
I
you wait.
refuse.
I was gonna say, let's not go there.
But
It's
like,
not gonna happen. We're
No.
not going
people,
to
without even asking if people are into that kind of thing, they just like get the idea that because there's big boobs or in some situations or some animes that like people are just like lonely and hugging their pillows and jerking their Johnsons because that's all they have.
Well, here's the other thing. A lot of people put anime and hentai together,
Yeah.
I've brought up anime, and then people have been like, "Oh, you mean hentai?" And I have to explain, no, it's not hentai. Hentai is something different than anime. Both made by Japan, but they're two different things.
Yeah.
So I feel like, there's a lot of people like that just correlate the two together, put the two together, and don't know the difference between the two of them, and that can also helps to add to the negative view of anime.
And like people will assume that that's anime in general, like that there's there's big boobs. Let me offered to them a counterpoint, like, no, that's not always the case. And to give you a perfect example, I can think of an anime that I really like called Monster. There is absolutely zero fan service and there's zero overly immature things. It's like a very adult and mature show. Like, it's not, it's definitely like the opposite of stereotypes. Like, I told somebody the description of the show Monster, and they were like, wow, that could actually be like a real life show. Like, and I would watch it.
Which
people
actually
don't
is
always
going to
see
be
that.
a real life show.
Yeah, that's ironically true. I'm actually really excited about that, by the way.
You turned one of my favorite series into a live action thing. I love you, HBO. Get your butts on it and get going, damn it.
Shout out to HBO. You know what I was just thinking now?
What?
If you think back, 20, 30, 40 years, sci-fi nerds were like made fun of, and now not so much.
Yeah,
it's
It's cool to be.
Star Wars and Star Trek and all it's sci-fi, everything else.
yeah, and like the thing with that is,
am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
the thing is like, oh, go ahead and continue before I interrupt again.
Okay, so that was that, and then like tech nerds were like were the next thing that were like made fun of and like in computers and video games, and now those are more mainstream. So maybe the next thing to be more acceptable will be anime.
That's true, and the way it works, like, is there's always in like different generations and different decades, there's always something that's completely out of someone's grasp of understanding, and they just outcast people for being interested in it.
Yeah.
Like computer nerds in the 1970s and stuff like that, and like. Anime wasn't, a major target of this kind of thing until it, became more popular. And, like, anime, at least in Western audiences, I don't know anybody who, like, was into it before, like, the mid-1990s.
Yeah.
That's really where it became big, when things like Evangelion started appearing.
Well, it started getting big with Toonami.
That's when it exploded.
That was when I first, actually I didn't even know it was anime back then.
And it's not even just that it was Toonami coming on. It's like this also opened eyes to younger audiences who were a fan of like Cartoon Network. This was a brand new thing to them.
Yeah.
But that's America. Where I live, I didn't hear about anime before I went on the internet and saw it.
And that's another thing that helped it grow
sites.
was the internet. When people started getting introduced to like manga and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Yeah,
Live.
you dropped. What happened?
Yeah, I have no idea.
She keeps being a zombie.
I don't know.
Disappeared. Yeah, we talked about the internet, right? And how it helped anime get big.
Well, oh wait, me?
No, I think Joey was.
Yeah, I was the one talking about it.
Oh, I thought I heard my name.
Yeah, it really helped bring it into light and like anywhere outside of Japan, really, not just Western audiences. If I just said Western audiences, I'd be practicing ethnocentrism, but yeah, I don't know, it's just, I guess, Sean, actually, you bring up a good point when you said, there's something that somebody will be outcasted for, and like you said, video games are a great example because they're becoming more mainstream. More people are playing them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing to do anymore.
But
like,
it used to be.
Yeah, like way back in the day, like people would, like even when it was starting to slightly grow, like when I would say, I like to play video games and stuff, I would be instantly labeled as a nerd.
Yeah. And now it's everyone. Like I mean, some people more than others, but I mean, at work, all the guys I work with all play video games. Some more than others, and so I really think that as more people start to watch anime, because it's obviously going to be more people, because we're all good.
Yeah, and like actually there was a video I saw a while ago, and a lot of people are might be familiar if you're part of like the online anime community.
Okay.
There's a guy named Giguk, and he actually did a video on, like anime and what would happen if it became mainstream. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, he
really
made a video.
interesting. Very, very, very good video. And it has his, typical sense of humor too, of course. But
Yeah, but what would you think that would happen if it became mainstream?
if it became mainstream, it would just be like everything else that became mainstream. It would be more accessible to people. And that's another thing that can happen. Like, if you look at anime, like, that's being pushed out now compared to, like, back in the 1980s or early 90s, it used to be in my opinion, it seemed a lot more fantasy-driven back in the day. And that's not to say that it doesn't exist now. There's just a lot more. I feel like it's expanded in what they've come up with. Like,
Yeah.
there's a ton of different
Definitely.
topics, and there's a lot more, like, realistic stuff and less driving people away from being, like, childish or something.
Mm.
And that's one of the things that I love about anime.
Yeah, there's tons of different kinds.
So it's so diverse. There's something for everyone.
Yep.
There is.
And that's why I feel like if more people would be open to at least giving it a try before judging it, they might find something they like.
Yeah, and it's not just being open to the idea of watching anime, it's just the people, like, backing off of this whole ideology that because somebody likes anime, they're, an outcast or something like that.
Because that could stop people from wanting to watch it. Like, oh, if I watch it and I like it, then I'm going to start getting made fun of. Like,
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, everyone gets
chain
made fun of
reaction.
for some things, so just say YOLO.
Embrace,
Go for it.
embrace the feels.
yeah.
Embrace the feels, indeed.
But, shoot, I was gonna say something really good and I forgot. Thanks.
You're
I'm
welcome.
sorry.
Aww.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
You
fine.
ruined it all. for
Sending
everybody.
virtual hug.
So, well, here's one thing that could help spread the. It's kind of old news, but the Monica Magica movie Rebellion was put on not on the short list. But it's on the long list.
You mean
for,
the shit list?
That's a different discussion, and
That's
we'll
a
get into
completely
that
different
another
discussion,
time.
Brittany. It's almost nominated for an Oscar. Or,
Really?
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's
How
on-
is something almost nominated for an Oscar?
because the way the Oscars
Don't
work
win,
is
don't win,
there's-
don't win.
there's
It won't.
They get a list of like 15, 20, 30 films for each category, and then the people, the association that votes for the actual votes for the Oscars, they pick out 5 from that list, and they get put on the short list, and those are the nominees. So it's that, along with a Studio Ghibli film and something else, another anime film. 3 anime films are actually on the long list for the best animated film of 2013.
I would take a wild shot at this and say the Garden of Words actually I could see that being nominated for an Oscar.
Mhm.
I could see
I'm
that
not
too.
sure, I don't think that one was on it. To be
Really?
honest.
That's really surprising to me.
Yeah, the animation in that.
And
one
another
is
thing that's
just
like,
downright
The animation's
gorgeous.
spectacular. The story is really depressing. Uh-huh.
let me
Skip
tell you,
back
there's
up.
nothing that can sell better than feels.
Yep,
That is
exactly.
true. I mean, Clannad,
Ah, blah.
we can all say.
I haven't seen Glenad, so
No.
Oh, the 3 were A Letter to Momo,
Yeah, I didn't like Clannad. Come at me, bro.
Rebellion, and The Wind Rises, I believe was.
oh yeah, The Wind Rises.
Those 3 animes
That's
were.
Ghibli?
The Wind Rises, I believe, was Ghibli. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak out my ass. I'm not quite sure. One of them, either The Wind Rises or
Yeah,
The
that's
Letter of
Ghibli,
Momo,
actually.
is okay. The Wind
Well,
Rises is Ghibli.
Speaking of movies, though, when you mention it like that and stuff like that happening, there is, other efforts to, make it more popular and, like, make it something big for Western audiences as well. Like, an example is, like, there are 2 movies I remember during the year that were getting, like, special theater showings. Like, Wolf
Yeah.
Children was one of them, and another one was Evangelion 3.0. And, like, those got special
Monica,
viewings. And I'm
Monica
like,
Rebellion,
the fact that
and-
they're actually going to advertise and let theaters show a theatrical release of a movie like that, that's pretty big. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. There's actually a lot of films recently have been getting anime films have been getting theater things. Blue Exorcist, Anohana's getting the Anohana movie's getting theater showings.
Not in Denmark.
Oh, poor Nene.
Poor Nene.
The one that I remember is Ponyo when that came out. I saw.
I also remember the Pokemon films being in theaters.
Pokemon
too.
films, yes, they were. That was a big thing. So I remember you got Pokemon cards with them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
to be honest,
Same
that
with
was
the Yu-Gi-Oh!
more. That's another thing that like.
The whole kids.
Yeah,
thing,
that's clearly designed for kids. Like the way 4Kids handled Pokemon.
Oh, here's
And that's also because of things like that getting popular. It doesn't help but contribute to the whole like it's just for kids thing.
So there's
Yeah, you're right. I just thought of an example though. So
Go ahead, tell me.
Well, I mean, not to go back to it, and even though I'm super hyped about it, but the whole fact that Monster of all things is getting a freaking live action adaptation, and it's going to be on HBO for God's sakes.
Yeah,
Lots of
that's
people
big.
like HBO.
That's big.
And it's great because
And it's an American cable company, and I'm just like, I told my dad about Monster, and
I was about
he
to
said
ask what
that he would
HBO
look
is.
it up.
HBO?
I get the sad feeling though that if he finds out that it was based on a manga, that he might not watch it. But I am still really hopeful that one of these days, when it airs on HBO, my dad and I will be able to sit down, grab some popcorn, and watch that mofo, that goddamn stupid sexy Johan, do his thing.
yeah, and have every single person on the planet look at one guy and say automatically, no, he's Dr. Tenma.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, when I was watching that series, it was like he was pretty much like Gordon Freeman in Half-Life. Everybody immediately was like, "Oh, hi!" Instead of "Hi, Gordon Freeman," it's like Dr. Tenma.
Yep.
But
I think Studio Ghibli is also a good thing for the anime community.
why do you say
It
that?
is.
I mean, everybody has seen a Ghibli film at some point in their life, almost.
So you can go with
It,
that.
it, it raises awareness of the anime culture, and people might figure out later on. I mean, that happened to me. I remember watching Spirited Away back in 2001,
Yeah.
and later on getting into the anime community because of that, like indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Spirited Away was so mainstream that it did win an Oscar in
Yeah, I did.
2003, 2001. I'm not sure.
It aired. It was released in 2001, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was
but
2001.
It won an Oscar. So that is a big thing. So to see it happen again would be awesome. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to that for some reason.
No, it's okay. It's just an easy thing to talk about. So
I really
And-
hope that helps to if at least one anime gets put onto the nominees, that would actually at least be something. Because people be like, oh, this thing got nominated. What is it? And then maybe they'll be curious enough to go and actually check it out.
And that actually reminds me of something that's actually a good point. Like when you get something that gets a positive rise in popularity, then more people who are not anime viewers or whatever will get into it. A perfect example of that, in my experience, was Attack on Titan. I had somebody
Yeah.
I worked with who was like, "Yeah, I don't really watch anime, but there's this show I'm watching right now called Attack on Titan, and I love it." And I'm like, "Wow, that's a great step for anime right now, because it's something that people can talk about. People can comfortably talk about an anime, whether it's for different reasons or if it's a more casual viewer anime. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that people who don't watch anime are watching this.
Yeah, I've experienced that as well on my Facebook. People I haven't talked to in a while suddenly, and who doesn't watch anime, suddenly posting stuff about Attack on Titan and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Because it's like there's always that one thing that comes out every now and then that helps boost its popularity to everyone. And again, I'm going back to video games as a topic because that's another thing that was recently just recently kind of lost its stigma. Like more people started becoming big into that when games like Call of Duty started coming out. Like everyone started playing video games. Like people weren't afraid of picking it up. being stigmatized because more people, everyone was playing it.
Yeah.
So like, there's always one or two things that just come out that help, boost the popularity and positive views.
But that also has a negative effect on the communities, I think.
What do you
because
mean by that?
There will always be the part of the communities that does not like when stuff becomes so popular it becomes mainstream.
And that,
like, people will hate on stuff, I mean, just because of that.
And that is like one of the issues with like just any community has that kind of thing, but like people who are there are going to be people who fit the negative stereotype who are, like not very sociable people, and that helps add to the negative community. And if people would just like let off the idea of people who aren't anime viewers watching it, there would be no negative effect. But just some people are like caught up with this. Some of the more negative side, are just caught up with this idea that people who are like that, are ruining it, and it's really not the case.
Yeah. It's the thing about people who say they are real anime fans, the real video gamers, like, because of those people.
Yeah, and I don't get that, and I think that's retarded.
And I agree.
Like, really, people should like things. It doesn't have to matter if they like a solid group of things. If they just like one little bit of it, that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a huge anime fan, but I'm not a big manga person. I don't read that many mangas. I mean, there's a couple I'm checking out right now, but like most people would be like, "Wow, you don't read manga at all? You should. It's so much better."
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's definitely an interesting topic to talk about, though, with like this whole negative ideology and people who aren't like the different types of people that can contribute to it and then also take away from it. Honestly, I'm one of those people that's like, you know what? I'll be open about what I'm interested in, because when it boils down to it, like I said before, it shouldn't matter if somebody like thinks highly or negatively of you. The best way to avoid a negative view on something you like is to just be as good of a person about it as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, people should just be more open to other people's interests.
Yeah. And sometimes
I
it might
mean-
be hard for people. I'll defend some people who are, like, have this negative idea towards something. Like, I'm not saying it's a good thing to have, it's just, like, sometimes it's hard for people to get into if they have bad experiences with people who are into that kind of thing. It kind of has to be both ways, in my opinion. But,
Yeah.
yeah, this has definitely gotten a lot more discussion than I was expecting.
Yeah, no.
I thought we were
Yeah.
going to be struggling, but we have a lot to talk about. Holy shit.
Because it's a topic that hits home for fans of
Yeah,
of
and,
anime.
like, as an anime viewer, I've been in this field too. Like I said, there have been times where I just wanted to stay quiet and not mention what I'm interested in because
Yeah.
of fear of
definitely.
like stigma attached to it.
Definitely.
I'm just saying, and for all those people out there that are afraid to talk about the anime they like, just think about all the famous people that have outspoken about the anime they've liked, which is, I always think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a fan of him. Kanye West had in his music video "Stronger" had Akira had a tribute to Akira in it.
Mm-hmm. And then we
It
have
did?
big
I love
groups
that,
like
that's pretty
Daft
cool.
Punk who had an entire set of music videos that were done in an anime style.
What did you say, Ryan?
I was just saying that the Kanye West music video, I didn't know about that. And same with Gorillaz. It's in an anime style. But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everyone, the Gorillaz is basically an anime. Like not really an anime, but like a bunch of cartoons.
It's a fictional musical group.
Yeah, and it's in an anime style.
Yeah.
But then Leonardo DiCaprio was funding a live-action Akira movie because he loves Akira that much.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
I did not know that either.
He was, but it was going to be an Americanized Akira film, and it's been going on for like it's been in production and pre-production for like years, and then and now it's been put on hold for like the fourth time, so it's probably never going to happen. But
Well, there was also another thing I had heard. I don't know the validity of this, but there was like, talk of a live-action Death Note movie done in
Yeah,
by
I heard
Americans,
about that.
and
I heard about
they
that.
were
too.
gonna. I was a little skeptical about it because I heard one of the people they were gonna hire, like they were gonna have. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Drake Bell as Light Yagami, and I was like, dude, there's no fucking way.
No,
But
it was worse.
interesting.
It was Zac Efron.
Oh, Zac Efron, yeah. It was one of those poppy kids. I don't fucking know. But Zac Efron. And I was skeptical about it because I'm like, dude, there's no way this guy is going to pull this off. But one interesting thing I found out about that, though, was apparently Zac was like, had said, like, he has actually read every single issue, or every single, like, volume of Death Note. Like,
And he
he
loves
actually
Light,
loves
so-
it. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that's pretty cool. I apologize for confusing his name. I couldn't remember who it was. It was some kid with stylish hair.
I hate when people
That's
when
okay.
well, that's one thing I hate about United States. They always try to change fucking the backstory for live action. Like in the Akira live action, they're gonna make Tetsuo and Kamina brothers, bartending brothers. Like why? And it was gonna be be set in Manhattan, but in a future where Manhattan is controlled by Japan. Why?
See, it's not so much the fact that it's changing the original concept, it's just making a concept that just sounds stupid.
Yeah. But I would have loved to have seen a live action film of Akira. I mean, even if it was butchered and horrible. But whatever. It's probably not going to happen now, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well. Oh, yeah. So, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of things to talk about, but we kind of want to hear feedback from the community itself. So if you have anything that you want to share or your thoughts on, the negativity towards the community, because whoever's listening to this is probably part of us, we're more than happy to hear your stuff, discuss with you, whatnot, because I'm sure it's a topic that everyone, can relate to.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Yeah, I promise I will comment back to you.
oh.
Because I love talking to you people.
No, and I love talking about anime with people, as long as they're not, as long as it's not even just anime. When somebody talks to me, as long as they're willing to accept, what I think, that's fine. I'll listen to what you have to say as well, even if you're wrong.
Even if you're 12.
Even if you're... But,
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's fine. That was funny. I appreciated that comment. Anyways, I guess that kind of wraps up this episode, though.
So,
Any other closing comments?
Anyone else have anything they want to say before we wrap this up?
Uh,
I take that as a no.
Actually, I had a little speech in mind. However, seeing as we've had so much time to talk about this lovely subject, I might put it on hold.
A speech?
Indeed, a speech.
What kind of speech?
Speak with me.
Oh, now you got me
My
interested.
Friends, it has often been said that I like anime.
Oh, here we go.
My friends, I like anime. No, friends, I love anime. I love moe. I love the shonen genre. I love giant naked people running across medieval battlefields. I love sieges and charges. I love mop-ups of terrible series right at the end when you don't expect it, and impossible to decipher symbolism. Anime on planes, anime on cruise ships, anime in your room with the lights off, anime with a group of friends wondering what the hell you're watching. I love every form of watching anime that can ever occur upon this earth, damn it.
That was beautiful.
I think
That
we
was
should-
really beautiful.
I think we should just end with that.
Alrighty, yeah, that was brilliant. And
Wow,
if you don't know what that reference is, that means you need to watch anime. Just saying.
Exactly, so go out there and watch some. And make Mama be proud.
I see what you did there, because your name was Brittany, and it starts with a B.
Sean.
God damn it.
it.
Anyways, I guess
Anyway.
I'll give the closures. Anyways, I'm Joey. And as always, closing out with my anime colleagues, Nineth,
Hi guys. See you next time.
Ryan,
Farewell.
the brilliant deliverer of the speech, Brittany,
You're all already dead.
and Sean.
Till next time, see you later.
We are OtakuVerse, and thank you for your time, and look forward to the next episode.